About 8 years ago, a great and very unique mod dropped on the Counter-Strike scene, Classic Offensive. It aimed to take the 1.6 formula and the gameplay and merge it with the source system to create a new revitalized version of the classic game. And for those of you who do know 1.6, you know how big of a deal it was back then and how important it was for where we are today with Counter-Strike. It set the stepping stones for what would eventually become Counter-Strike Source, Counter-Strike Go, and then Counter-Strike 2, which is hitting record numbers right now, and everybody's playing it. It's still a game that stands the test of time. So these modders created this version of the game that would bring a new generation of Counter-Strike players to not only appreciate the game that started it all, but also create a new version of the game that allowed users to experience that sort of old-fashioned gameplay with the newer graphics and the newer system with much smoother gameplay, and it was really cool. Honestly, you're seeing gameplay of it right now. I tried this out a couple of years ago, and it's been 8 years since its development. Now, the game was greenlit, and their plan was to release it on Steam when they were finished with it. They made sure to take all the legal precautions to make sure that they would be able to do that. Unfortunately, it looks like Valve has other plans. In a statement done last month, the creators of Classic Offensive spoke about their frustrations in an X post. They said, "Dear Counter-Strike community, since we've submitted our build to Steamworks, we've received an automated Steam support message about having retired our app without any reason explained. This is devastating as we've worked on the project for almost 8 years now. We do not understand what happened. We went through Steam Greenlight back in 2017, talked to legal to know if this was possible for us to release on Steam. We even discussed with some of the developers on different Valve projects, and they have been very cooperative in helping us figure out the means of release back then. Steamworks had requested that we finish the build before being able to release, and now that we did, we are unable to publish it. The project has been sticking to the guidelines on how to release a mod on Steam. We've followed the requirements and recommendations to the letter. No leaked code was used or legal actions were taken, for those wondering. Nobody at Valve told us to stop what we were doing during all those years, no sort of formal request, yet this feels like an even worse form of cease and desist at this point. Many people at Valve are aware of our and many other projects, yet have refused to communicate since late 2020. We feel like we're treated unfairly and have been blinded by our own passion for the game, as many other projects did before. We now feel required to tell any modding team related to Valve projects to reconsider what they're doing. We do not think our case is an isolated one at all. Moving forward, we'll try to get in contact with Valve employees, even companies related to Counter-Strike in general, to try to get things moving in the right direction in the hope this issue can be resolved. Sincerely, the entire Classic Offensive team." Now, people, not just the modders, are outraged by this, and Valve isn't really doing a good job at communicating. They seem to have gone radio silent for the last 4 years, 5 years at this point, after telling them that it was okay to actually do this mod, which is absolutely crazy and really a scummy thing to do. I'm not sure what's going on that side of things, but it really is heartbreaking to see a mod, especially one that really is paying homage and tribute to the classic Counter-Strike 1.6 formula, and it really isn't doing anything wrong. It really is just a mod for the game. This isn't like a ripoff or anything, and it is in no way is it going to threaten Counter-Strike 2 in any sort of way. This is just a fun user-made project, so it's extremely disappointing. A lot of people on the comments and everything are not understanding what exactly is up with that, and are alluding to the fact that there's a lot of games on Steam that are completely out of line and completely inappropriate, honestly, to be having on Steam. Yet somehow it's okay to have these games that have fake reviews and harassing customers, the developers harassing customers and all that stuff, along with a lot of adult video games and stuff like that. That's all okay, but not this mod. A lot of people are putting emphasis on that, and they have a point with that. I think that there's a double standard there, and the games that I see coming out in the front page sometimes are insane that they're even allowed on the Steam platform, especially with people of all ages on there, but that's another story altogether. But with that aside, I think that it's pretty scummy that if this is the case, if this is what's actually happening, and they aren't getting back to these developers that have worked so hard after all this time to make this mod a reality. And I think that it's just a really fun project. Stuff like this should not be hung out to dry, especially when people have spent all this time on it. So I don't know, it's pretty crazy that this is happening, but let me know your thoughts below on all this. I think it's really a disappointment. It's really a disappointing situation to have this happen, and I would just say to the Counter-Strike Classic Offensive team to keep trying and keep trying to get contact, because hopefully they will eventually get back to you. But again, that's wishful thinking. It seems like they have not decided not to get back to you after all this time. So it's a tough situation, it really is. But if there's a way to rebrand it or remarket this in a way that somehow does not violate any kind of copyright, which it seems like you guys took the time to do that. So if there is some kind of way to do that, then that might be the way to go about it. But again, there's a lot more that goes into it. That's a lot easier said than done. But just throwing out ideas and support for the team of Counter-Strike Classic Offensive, because it's been a while since I checked it out, but I really enjoyed it from what I saw. I thought it was pretty fun, and honestly something that I would love to see integrated in the actual game. That would be really cool. Maybe limited time game mode, or just one of these side game modes that they have in the game. And it would be really cool to have some kind of collaboration with that if they were willing to reach out to the team about it. But it really is an unfortunate case, but just want to shed light on it, maybe get the ball rolling somehow, you know? So I don't know, let me know below what you guys think about it, and please be sure to hit that subscribe button, stay up to date with the latest. I'll put the link to the X post along with the mod BD link, and yeah, and a video to it so you can check it out. But yeah, have a great day, y'all.